Hey guys, it's Elisa Wallace. Thanks for joining me on my second Fact Friday Frequently Asked Questions. If you guys haven't subscribed yet, make sure you do, and make sure to pop that little, that's not good, pop the bell. Make sure that you guys click the bell down here, so then that makes sure you're notified of anytime I have a new video posted. Thanks guys for all of the responses on my Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. It was a huge help and I had so many responses, and here are going to be just three, but hopefully they will be interesting 3 questions for you guys today. Question number 1, what do you look for when you're looking at Mustangs and off-the-track thoroughbreds? So when looking for a Mustang, there are 3 things that I like to look for. So you've got temperament, conformation, and then history. When I go and I look for a Mustang in a holding facility, there are a couple of things you can do. One, you can observe the horse in the holding facility, and it can give you a couple of clues about their temperaments and behavior. Is that horse a dominant horse? Is it bossing around other horses, kicking them? Is it really submissive? Is it like really flighty and running around from everybody? Or is the horse kind of holding their ground and not really minding? Those are kind of 3 major types you can look for. They normally have a perimeter to where you can go around the pens. And so oftentimes you can see if a horse is kind of friendly to people by coming to the panels to greet people. Like Roan was nibbling on my clipboard when I was first observing him. And so that can kind of give you a clue into their temperament. When you're studying them in holding, it's just a clues into your behavior. So that is really the coolest thing about the Mustangs, is that you may see one that's super flighty or can be aggressive, but then once that horse goes through the training process, they can really do a 180. And completely change. You know, I wouldn't focus so much about their temperament when you're watching them in holding. It's just a clue to their behavior. Probably the biggest thing in my book that I'm looking for when I look at a Mustang is the conformation. So the really important thing is how straight. You want nice straight legs. You don't want, probably the most common flaw in Mustangs is that they can be behind the knee. And sometimes you also have to watch out for clubbed feet, so where they have retracted tendons and the hoof is very up and down. So that's probably one of the biggest things I look for. I don't want anything turned in, don't want anything turned out. I want nice straight legs. Another common flaw that can happen in the Mustangs is that they can tend to have a short neck. So for what I'm looking for in a eventing Mustang is I need one to have a longer neck, because that will help out through the shoulder, because the horses really need to be able to gallop and have scope in their gallop. So I have found the ones with the shorter necks can tend to have a shorter stride. You know, you want a horse with a nice medium-sized back. The hind end ties in well, and again, you want nice, straight, correct angles on the hind end. Now, the third thing, which can give you even more clues into your horse, is the history of the horse. So I know last time I talked about the HMAs, which is the herd management areas, which is where the horses are captured from. And there are certain characteristics that can be consistent in each herd. Also, some things to consider about the history is that you can ask is when that horse was captured, how long it's been in holding. Sometimes horses have been born in a facility, versus if you're wanting to get a Mustang that was just recently caught. A fresh Mustang can be pretty sometimes tough versus one that maybe has been in holding a while and has been a little bit more, they're still untouched, but they're conditioned a little bit more to know that humans are bringing hay and water. I look actually for similar things in the thoroughbreds as well. Conformation being kind of like my main go-to. You want nice straight legs, you want length of neck, you want an uphill built horse. Temperament for the thoroughbreds, it's kind of also, you can learn about that through a little bit of the history, asking if you can exercise riders, or watching how the horse handles itself on the races. Now, I do go into detail about this on one of my vlogs about one of my RRP horses, Play Big. So if you want to kind of learn a little bit about that, you can watch that video right there. Will that work? Right there. Watch the video here, there, there. Make sure to watch the video, this video here. That will, I go into a little bit more detail of what I'm looking for in a thoroughbred. Question 2 was how to build strength in your horse's hind end. Not just using hills. So, I mean, walk conditioning on the roads or hacking in hills is a really good way to strengthen horses' hind ends, but also I do a lot of pole work just in my flat work. I tend to set poles, for trot poles that are going to be set about 6 feet, and then I also have 9-foot canter poles, which you can also use as trot poles, and I tend to put those through circles. If I have tons of poles. Also, cavalettis work really well too, because you can vary the height to where you really can get your horse to pick up its feet. Working on that consistently with your horse in a proper frame and making sure that they're stepping through their body is a really good way to build the hind end. And I will be doing a video a little bit later to show you some exercises that I do with my particular horses. So the third and final question was the kind of what determined my decision process in selling versus keeping a horse named Frosty Martini versus Gamble or Play Big. The hard part of being a horse trainer, sometimes you have to make decisions that you don't always like. And I think sometimes selling horses can be one of the toughest things to do. I want to keep them all. So for when I was looking at a Frosty, he ended up having a really great temperament. And that is something that I always try to look for in horses, because again, if they don't work out for me, kind of in what I want to do in the upper levels, then they can be very successful horses in other jobs. Frosty was very sellable, so he had really good qualities. He was a go with the flow type of horse. He was a good looking horse, and he did end up selling, and he sold to a wonderful home, and I'm excited for his future with his new owner. While selling horses can be a hard part, a very rewarding part of selling the horses is if the horse necessarily isn't going to work out for me, that horse is then successful in another home. And I think that's really, really important, because I'm helping more people and more horses. The reason why I decided to keep Gamble was lame at the time. So I'm not going to sell a lame horse. It has to be a really good match with horse and rider, because I really want my horses to be successful in whatever they do. Thanks, guys. Make sure you like, subscribe, and hit the bell. Also, a big thank you to all my Patreons for all their support. And if you're interested in becoming a Patreon and want to see exclusive videos that are not posted on my YouTube yet, it only costs $1. Like, what can you buy for only $1? I don't even know anymore. Like, not even.
This?
No.
Can you buy this?
Not for $1. Candy bar.
Can you buy this?
Ew, stop. You're being gross. So, yeah, for $1, you can get behind the scenes access and also videos, exclusive early videos. I make sure my Patreons are up to date with the current news that's happening in my barn. Until next time, go Johnny, go. Save a horse, ride a Mustang. Bye.